Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad you all can be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, we're glad you all could join us as well. But if you guys are fans of A&E, you probably have seen this show, Neighborhood Wars, where they are now celebrating Season 4. We're excited to welcome one of the producers and directors, Pat Twist, to our program to talk not only about the show's success, but also what it's been like for him to see the conversations that are coming from the series as well. Pat, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Pat, I think that the thing about Neighborhood Wars, and again, congratulations on Season 4, is that, for one thing, it gives us a snapshot of all of us, I think, in this country and some of the issues that we kind of face, but also, I think, some of the great things about this country as well and the people in it. What has it been like for you to see the conversations, Pat, that have taken place around Neighborhood Wars?
Well, like you said, this show is all about what's happening around us in the neighborhoods, the rich neighborhoods, the poor neighborhoods, the middle income neighborhoods, the cities, the suburbs, the country. This is the closest you can get to true reality television, and this is something that, again, now more than ever in the history of the human race, are we recording and have the ability to record things. Sometimes, at the push of a button. Sometimes not even. They're constantly. The security cameras that are just constantly rolling. You don't even have to press. But cell phones, doorbell cameras, security cameras, dashboard cameras on your cars, all picking up what's going on around us. And some of it's really, really crazy.
Right.
Really,
exactly.
Really, and to the point where you're like, we don't script any of these things. We don't write or stage it. These are all stories that we find on the internet. The team that, the really great team that I work with that finds these, that God bless TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and and now, like, in our fourth season, we're actually getting people that are reaching out to us and saying, hey, I've got a crazy story, do you want to see this video? So they're actually coming to us with some of these now. But these are, a lot of times it's like, sometimes they're recording it for their safety. Sometimes they're recording it because they want, sometimes they're recording just because of the sheer craziness of it. Sometimes they're putting these stories out there on the internet to get validation or to get someone else to say, oh, I've been there, I'm sorry, or someone to say, holy cow, you don't deserve that, or that's everyone wants to know, to be heard. And a lot of times these things, 10, 20 years ago, this show wouldn't have actually ever been possible. But we would have just heard, there would have been an urban legend about a woman who lit her house on fire when she was, or the man that drove across the street and drove through his neighbor's front door because of a long-standing, we would have just heard about that. Maybe
right.
The news would have caught it, and done a story about it and shown you the car in the living room. But now we're seeing these things happening thanks to the beauty of technology, and it's all caught on camera. And there's a certain, you want to see that. Sometimes it's just nice to know that, oh man, you know what? My life stinks, but it ain't as bad as that guy's.
Yeah.
We watch this, and we get a certain view of like, oh, I almost feel better knowing that my neighbor's not that bad when I saw what that guy on Neighborhood Wars did.
Right. Pat, you bring up a really good point, and the appreciation factor is definitely one. But, I mean, there's a reason why I think people have been so drawn to this show. So I want to go back just a little bit, if you don't mind, to 2021. When this first started airing, did you have any idea the reaction that it would get at that time?
Well, there's always something you're thinking. You're like, there's a show here. There's a concept here. But you never know. Like any movie or an album or anything, you're like, is this going to catch? Are people going to want to see this on a regular basis, week after week? And the answer is yes. Because it's never the same. There's never, you can have similar, stories in the quote, there's a lot of people that are. Where these feuds will start because of their neighbors being too noisy, or they're using their leaf blower, they're playing the music too loud. But something I tell my team when we're putting these stories together for each episode is that there is no format, there is no trick or easy cheat to tell. Every story is different. Sometimes you've got 45 seconds of a doorbell camera. Sometimes you've got hours, and I literally mean that, hours of cell phone cameras footage from a neighbor recording his neighbor. So every story needs to be crafted and put together based on what we've got. And and there's sometimes we get where we're like, that just isn't going to make it. That's a great story, but you know what? That particular incident or that thing just wasn't caught on camera, or you can't see it because the guy's camera was, or you hear, and so. Like you said, we didn't know that the people were going to love this the way they do, but as you're putting it together, you're like, there's definitely something here. People are going to watch it, and sure enough, now we're in season 4.
Yeah, and so for yourself, like you said, and I think it's important for us to remember, it's not scripted, but did you go into now that you have, of course, getting to this point, Pat, with season 4, did you have any expectations for yourself? Like you said, you never really know what's going to happen until it happens, but going into this season, did you feel like you kind of had met your stride and you kind of knew exactly what the audience, enjoyed watching and would tune in for and would engage with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we'd kind of cracked that nut by the end of season 1. The season.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Into season 2, you start getting like, this is what we're, and this is what doesn't, and this is what'll fly, and this is what. And sure, you get comments on Twitter or A&E puts some of these clips on YouTube, and you'll see what people comment. And what's surprising? As much as it's called Neighborhood Wars, and the majority of the clips in every episode are fighting and feuding and yelling. Something that I'm really proud of that I like are these kind of feel good clips. That restore your faith in humanity a little bit.
Right.
That have to do with neighbors helping their neighbors, or neighbors. There's a great one about some bikers were traveling through a town, and they got in a bad car accident right in front of this woman's house. And this woman was a nurse. She went outside, and she until the EMTs and the ambulances arrived, she kept some of these bikers alive. She treated them. She was able to, keep them working with them. These guys had really bad injuries. Cut to a year later, they're on their tour again. They're driving, through the neighborhood, and the mother, the woman that had helped them out, her daughter's having a lemonade stand outside her house, and no one's coming by. And she put on social media, she put on Facebook, hey, my daughter's having a lemonade stand, and these guys got wind of it. And they brought their 100 biker gang to the girls' lemonade stand and made her day. And she was sitting out there for hours and had 2 customers, and these guys showed up, and it was a little bit of like, hey, you know what? The least we could do for you saving our life is buy some lemonade from your daughter. And it was a great. Exactly. And you see these big, burly, rough guys coming up, and happy to buy some lemonade for this 7-year-old girl. And those stories are the reason I do the show. But the fights and the craziness are why the viewers are watching it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's a great way for us to be able to remember, like you said, the appreciation for our own neighbors sometime, but also you said the goodness of us all. Again, everyone, Neighborhood Wars is the show. It's on A&E on Tuesdays. We've been speaking with Pat Twist today about the success of the program. Thank you again, Pat. Really appreciate you stopping by, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thanks for having me on. Anytime.
I'm glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.